You know what? I'm not leaving. I'm not leaving. I'm not fucking leaving! The show goes on!
Okay, let's see what's on the news today. Okay, look, all jokes aside, there's a lot of stuff that has been going down, of course, with Telltale Games, but I thought I'd quickly cover it and then get to what's been happening next. Okay, September, Walking Dead Episode 2 of the final series comes out, okay? Now, there had already been some stuff in the wind, like maybe there were some problems with Telltale, but out of the blue, of course, we heard the bad news. Telltale closing down. Originally, we thought it was like 225 people, ended up being about 250. They were completely let go of working at Telltale. They only had 30 minutes to leave the premises. Like 30 minutes. No severance packages, nothing whatsoever. They were just told to get up, see you later, thanks for everything. And after that happened, one of the staff that was let go started a class action lawsuit against Telltale Games based on how badly everyone had been treated, for God's sakes. Like, as I said, no notice, just kicked out the door. I mean, a lot of people are looking at this case and seeing that they definitely probably have a case here. Not to mention, a lot of people knew that they were looking for additional funding for some of the new projects. So if you're looking for funding and your funding is currently running out, of course it looks like you're in a bit of a spot there that you should tell your employees. And now we find ourselves in the position that we're in. They're officially closing, and they were Telltale Games, desperately looking for someone to take the reins with Walking Dead, and hopefully someone would also hire the staff from The Walking Dead to finish that final installment. But just on a side note, this whole Telltale looking for someone else to pick up a lot of the people that they've just fired, I mean, I guess they're trying to do something nice, but anyone that worked there and was let go with 30 minutes notice, I can totally understand if they're like, fuck Telltale, as if I want to come back and work on some project that you want me to finish. I mean, a lot of people, maybe have found other jobs, just don't want to go back and work with Telltale, or maybe just taking a time out because it's been a pretty shitty, traumatic experience. So I guess a lot of these people wouldn't want to come back and work with Telltale anyway. But aside from all that, Telltale Games trying to find someone to desperately finish The Walking Dead, pass it off to some other company, try and, get that company to maybe hire some of the original staff. It just all seemed like all hope was lost. But somebody has heard the call, ladies and gentlemen, okay? And that person is Skybound. And they're not just any old company, they've actually got a very close connection to The Walking Dead. Robert Kirkman, who is the co-founder of Skybound, is also the co-creator of The Walking Dead. So he's obviously got a bit of a sweet spot for this, It was obviously his baby, and now he wants to be again his sugar daddy. And this was the official tweet from Skybound with the news. We're so happy to announce that we've reached a deal with Telltale Games that will allow Skybound to continue with The Walking Dead the final season. Let's wrap up on Clem's story right. More details to come soon. And that all sounds great, especially knowing that, it's going somewhere that has such a fondness to it and such a, it's the foundation of the very story of The Walking Dead. So it's a great place to come back to. So the big question was, of course, what's happening with the staff though? Okay, that has been, the big question throughout this. Is Skybound going to be employing the staff that were let go from Telltale Games? Skybound has come out and said the following on this subject. Skybound will work with the members of the original Telltale team to finish the story in a way the fans deserve. For me personally, that just doesn't really give us a firm undertaking, but it really does say at least that they might employ certain people from Telltale to guide the creative process, to make sure that the creative compass and the design is in the right places. But I mean, that does not say for a moment that they're going to be, hiring or offering everyone jobs from Telltale. A lot of people are, might look into that and think, yay, everyone's going to get rehired. Definitely not. I reckon maybe a couple of people will be brought on board just so it's going in the right direction. But I don't know about you, now it feels like it's maybe getting to the end of the story, in terms of they've found the developer that they needed. I reckon very, very shortly in the coming weeks, we'll understand how many people from Telltale will be offered jobs at Skybound. And the real question is, like, how did this all come about? And I really think that it starts with, if you look at Telltale Games' performance right back to maybe even 2012 with the first Walking Dead game that they released. I looked at every game that's come out since, and I actually looked at Metacritic at the user score, and I can tell you now, every single year we were getting mixed scores, as low as 3.3. Most of those games fell between 5.7 and about 7. A development house that is pumping out 14 games in such a short time, I feel like it's not really listening to the customer. Many of those scores, by the way, were between 2015 and 2017, where you can see pretty much very comfortably in the 6 range there. There's definitely a problem there, and if Telltale Games is not listening to that problem, of course they're going to find themselves in this predicament where they're literally shutting up shop. They're putting out 250 odd people are out of a job. It's devastating for everybody that is part of that, and at the same time, it's a terrible lesson about how cutthroat this industry really is. If you get stale and you create product after product that is relatively generic and a cookie cutter copy of everything else that you're making, people will catch on pretty soon and they'll stop lining up for it and they'll stop buying it and they'll give it shitty reviews. And then before you know it, you're shutting up shop. And Telltale is a perfect example of that. So it's a real shame because a lot of people, they're out of a job. And, as I said, it's going to be a bit more of a serious one today, but it's an important thing to look at. And I really think if you guys looked at those stats, you'd see the same stuff that I'm talking about. A lot of those games were just poorly reviewing from the actual user base that were playing those games. So it's, the writing was on the wall years ago for Telltale, and they clearly just weren't making the changes that they needed to. And here we are. But guys, I'll keep you updated on this story. I love you, appreciate you. But until next time, see you, fam.